You know how I'm always talking about those bull market doors, that phase after the Bitcoin halving, where Bitcoin just explodes, crypto explodes into the parabolic bull run. We're getting ready. We're around 100 days from the next Bitcoin halving. We're getting there. This is the bull market high of 2011, around $30 Bitcoin, to a bear market low at around, $2. We have the bull market doors, even all the way back then in that cycle, post 2012 halving. This is what I want to talk about in this video as Bitcoin, if we go all the way to where we are right now, Bitcoin around 100 days away from the next Bitcoin halving. What does it mean for Bitcoin? What will price do? Will the consistency remain? That this area is the launch pad for the next parabolic crypto run. And I want to look at Ethereum charts, ADA charts, and XRP charts and just tie it all together in terms of what we could anticipate in the coming months, because we're there. We've waited like 4 years for this Bitcoin halving, and we are there. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's just jump into the video. As you know, I talk about the bull doors all of the time, right? This is mainly in the last couple of weeks or so what we've been tracking. Bitcoin got rejected at the 618 prior to the halving. This is something that has happened in cycles past. We're waiting for Bitcoin to break through those doors. And in cycles past, one thing that we've noted time and time again is the bull market doors have not been broken until after the Bitcoin halving. So, and I can go plot this in every cycle really quickly just so we have a glimpse of it. And here's all the way back here, 2014 bear market low. There's those bull market doors being broken. And what's kind of cool about this, and that's January 2015 bear market low. We're taking this data all the way back here to a 2011, 2012 Bitcoin halving cycle. And so what I want to note before we look at what we can anticipate in the next 100 days and even after that, check this out. So that first cycle after the first Bitcoin halving, it took 77 days for Bitcoin to break these bull market doors. And just look at that. 2012 halving goes on to break those doors. You can see even prior to the halving, Bitcoin actually didn't even test those doors. Now we go to the next cycle, Bitcoin did test those bull market doors prior to the halving. We talk about it often. Right here, rejected, comes back down, and then breaks those bull market doors right around 189 days. So we have 77 days, that cycle, 189 days, that second cycle, and then we have 175 days in the last cycle. So the last two cycles, very consistent, sitting around 180 days or so after the Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin's breaking those bull market doors. And look, there's that rejection once again on Bitcoin at the 618 prior to the halving. Here we are again, the same exact story playing out. And there's no reason for me to sit here and think that it's going to be different this time. There was a reason. I posted about it earlier. Bitcoin ETF approvals have taught us a massive lesson. It wasn't different this time because that was the question. Are the Bitcoin spot ETFs going to have Bitcoin breaking through these bull market doors sooner than post Bitcoin halving? Because as we just saw, the three halvings that Bitcoin has had so far, right? 2020, 2016, 2012, every single cycle, Bitcoin broke those doors, the Fibonacci retracement, after the halving. At this point, I'm very convinced that it's not going to break through until after the halving. And I just want to say, I could be very wrong about that. And I will gladly sit here and say, hey, I was wrong. Because I would really like it to break the bull market doors and break above these areas prior to the Bitcoin halving. Time is running out, so it's going to be very interesting to see. But I wanted to take this a step further, and then we're going to look at Ethereum, altcoins, ADA, XRP. We're going to look at those charts, how it plays into this, and how altcoins will be operating. But I wanted to take it a step further and say, all right, well, what if the Bitcoin halving happens, and the consistency is we break the bull market doors after the halving, number one. But what if it's again like 180 days or so, right? The average basically of the last two halvings. And I'm not sure if it's going to be that long, right? It could be shorter. Maybe it's longer. But let's just say 180 days or so. That's November, where Bitcoin is finally breaking through these bull market doors. Again, this is very speculative. I'm just taking historical context. I know a lot of you will have opinions that we're going to break it through sooner, even before the halving, or going into halving, or it's going to take longer. For me, I just like taking the average so I can have just a general starting point of what's fair to at least anticipate. And if this is it, we're looking at potentially November, the end of this year, Bitcoin, crypto, just starting to get ready to break those bull market doors into parabolic season. Now, one thing that ties into this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. I think as we wait for the Bitcoin halving and even a little bit thereafter, there's a case where Bitcoin finally does make that last move up, that last swing high to put in a lower high on the macro, on the Bitcoin dominance before alt season starts kicking up, post 2024 halving. So that's something that plays into this as well. But that's what the Bitcoin chart looks like. November, Bitcoin's breaking those doors. Now, what I wanted to talk about in terms of altcoins, and this is very important. I think this is maybe why I really wanted to do this video. If you go to something like Ethereum, notice Ethereum, when the bull market doors were being broken for Bitcoin right here, right in November or so. I just want to make a note that Ethereum, from the bull market high to where Ethereum was, Ethereum down around 65% from all-time highs at that moment. Now, if you go to something like ADA, last cycle, down around 88%. So just take this into perspective. Right here, November 2020, Bitcoin's breaking the bull market doors. ADA is still down 88% from all-time highs. So Bitcoin's about to go crazy. ADA also obviously about to go crazy. But for a moment, ADA, you go over here and look at Ethereum. Ethereum in November 2020 started kind of moving with Bitcoin a little bit as well. And then XRP, I want to get all of these into play. If we go look at XRP in November 2020, check it out. That's an incredibly nice move for XRP. But look at this. XRP at the time, even after that crazy move, down 76% from that swing high. And right before the move in November, down 92%. So the point I'm trying to make here is with Ethereum or with XRP, here's the Bitcoin halving, with XRP, with ADA, here's the Bitcoin halving with ADA, with Ethereum, all of these altcoins, they were still down quite a lot. And there was this case to say, you know what, man? Bitcoin halving has happened. Bitcoin's looking bullish. It's starting to look bullish. I'm not sure altcoins are going to, they're going to outperform. Mind you, one thing on the XRP chart I just want to put out there is we know we had the SEC case going on with XRP. It really stifled the bull run for XRP. But my point I'm trying to make is altcoins, they can truly just consolidate from here until post-Bitcoin halving, until the Bitcoin bull market doors are broken. So I don't know what it's going to look like on these charts. I really have no idea. I know what I think, which is to say, I think we're going to come down a little bit more and test some moving averages. Here's the 50-week on Bitcoin, 30, 31, 20 weeks at around 36. Those moving averages kind of going to meet Bitcoin somewhere. And then Bitcoin starts bouncing into halving. And then we're going to start talking about approaching these bull market doors and breaking them. During that time period, I think it's very fair to anticipate that altcoins, while all of that is happening, they might be sideways, they might be down, they might be, following Bitcoin in a sense. However, it is very important to note that just because Bitcoin is kind of having its time to shine when it happens, I think it's very important just to wait for altcoins. That's kind of me just talking to myself and reminding me of that. And what I want to show you, because there's all of these charts, here's the ADA chart, for instance, they don't go back that long, right? Like this is the 2020 halving. That's like the only cycle data that we have for ADA. And it's kind of like, man, ADA was 88% down from all-time high at the Bitcoin halving, but COVID happened and really destroyed alts for a second. So, maybe that affected how down it was. But I want to point something out. I want to go to Litecoin very briefly because we have 2016 halving data. That's July 2016 right here. Notice Litecoin, even post the halving. This is an altcoin operating with Bitcoin, very sideways, seemingly doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, absolute explosion from Litecoin. And notice when it was doing nothing post 2016 halving, and by the way, to give you an idea of what Bitcoin was doing while Litecoin was doing nothing, post 2016 halving, Bitcoin was trending up, right? So I just want to point that out. It was trending up, and then Litecoin at the same time was just completely sideways. And then finally, out of nowhere, it just exploded. That's this type of vibe I think is good to anticipate in terms of this next cycle and, you know, how altcoins are going to interact with Bitcoin. One thing is for sure, though, the Bitcoin charts, they are still 100% on pace. And until anything changes in terms of Bitcoin markets and Bitcoin cycles being on pace, I'm just going to keep anticipating what we've been anticipating. And that is to say, the resistance at the 618, retracement, and then bull market doors post halving being broken. So that's kind of where I am right now. I wanted to just kind of bring in some data. Sorry if the altcoin data was a little bit all over the place, but you can just see how, you know, Bitcoin getting ready to break bull market doors from the all-time high, for instance, right? When it's happening, you know, 20, 30% away from all-time highs, and altcoins tell a different story. And I just want to say, that is okay. It doesn't mean altcoins, in my opinion, are weak. It doesn't mean they're doing something that's different than previous cycles or anything out of the ordinary. It's just what altcoins do. We're not in alt season, right? It's not, I don't think altcoins are meant to outperform Bitcoin right now. That doesn't happen usually until the bull market doors are broken and we really start entering that bull market. So that's what we're waiting for. This period of time from now to then, it's just going to be a lot of consolidation in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts, everybody. I appreciate all of you cruising through. I hope you're doing well out there. Hit the subscribe, hit that like button for me. Your support means a ton. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.